14, oh, this is our game to lose?
Absolutely. I mean, you know, when you have a quarterback like Drew Brees and a play caller in Sean Payton, you never feel like the game is out of reach. I think up until they scored their last touchdown, you really feel like you got an opportunity to go and put some drives together and win the game. We would put a couple plays together, but we really couldn't get, you know, drives going. And it was kind of unfamiliar territory to our offense because we're not used to that. So, I mean, I got to credit the Bears defense because they had to be the reason, because that's unlike us.
One game away from the ultimate goal of every NFL team, but yet the best season ever in franchise history. You take solace with that part, don't you?
A little. It's tough now because you wanted to get there. I mean, everybody in this locker room wanted to get there, and it's tough coming up this short to get, you know, one game away and come up short. But at the same time, man, you know, we went out and played our hardest. We gave this city something to believe in again, and it was a great feeling to give back and to be a part of something like this.
All right, Billy, thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Back here once again with Jim Henderson on some final thoughts of what's been a very special season for this franchise in this Gulf South.
Well, it's been a wonderful season. This is a fairly young football team that returns a core of good players. I mean, at the end of the year, you always look back on your last game and say, well, these are our needs. And if you're the Saints, you say, well, we've got to have a cornerback. We've got to have a run stopper. We've got to have probably a complimentary receiver on the other end of the line of scrimmage for Marcus Colston, since it looks like Joe Horn doesn't fit into this team's plans any longer. But you know what? At the end of the year, there'll be 31 disappointed teams and only one happy one. That's either going to be the Colts or the Bears. You look at what the Saints did this year, and I don't think any Saints fan is losing sight of that. You might have fallen a little bit short of anticipation, Miami, but the expectations that this team far exceeded far outweigh that.
And a whole lot to look forward to next season.
That's right.
All right, Jim, thank you very much. We couldn't say goodbye to Chicago without hearing from Mike Hoss and the fans that made that road trip up from New Orleans. We'll hear from the Saints Nation when 4th Down on 4 continues live in Chicago next.
Happened today. 2nd and 7 from the 12. Big hole straight ahead. Benson, and he's going to score. 12-yard touchdown run. Cedric Benson. And Bear fans thinking of the warmer climes of Miami as they stretch the lead.
It was after that touchdown that the throngs of Saints fans who used planes, trains, and automobiles to make their way to the Windy City had to realize that the run was over. Mike Hoss has been bringing us the Who Dat Report each and every day from Chicago this week. And Mike, surely even with the loss, this trip wasn't all for naught, though, was it?
Oh, not at all. To the Saints fans who decided to make the trip and pay the money for the airfare or train fare or gas and the ticket prices, certainly wanted to be here for this event, an historical event, the first time that the team had made it this far. So yeah, it was hardly for naught. And the execution certainly isn't what the team wanted, but few fans could fault the effort. There were so many new faces on this football team this year, but because of their play and this team's character, fans fell in love quickly. They didn't get the trip to Miami they wanted, but they did get a heck of a ride.
Comments you don't typically hear from the losing team's fans, but this hasn't been a typical season.
It was a great ride, but I think although this is a loss, the city's still behind this team. This team is something different.
This was a special season regardless.
It surely was. You know, Katrina and everything that did happen, you know, people pulled together. Look how many fans that came up here from Louisiana, because we love our Saints. We love football.
Scattered throughout the stadium, the Who Dat Nation made their presence known and felt early.
You've waited a long time for this game to come.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I'm ready to go 2 weeks to Miami.
Things went poorly for the team early, though, but Chicago field goals kept it close.
That's all right. That's all right. Only down by 6. Only down by 6. They can't score a touchdown. They can't score a touchdown.
Well, I tell you what, 3-13 to go to this is nothing to be ashamed of. But we got it handed to us today.
The Bears ended the Saints' magical run, and fans weren't ready to say goodbye to this season and this team just yet.
We love our team, we love our city, and there's next year too, and this is the furthest we've ever been. And I love the Saints. I love everything about them.
What will you remember most about this year?
Just the class of the coach and the players. Just a hell of of a bunch of men.
Sean Payton, Deuce, Reggie, they all came together. It was discipline this year. And guess what? Next year's going to be discipline too, except we're going one more step further.
You know, a lot of fans feel that way about next year, and few fans will ever forget the Dome opener, that first game against the Falcons, or the last game in the Dome against the Eagles, where fans just didn't want it to end. Today, it did, but fans are already talking that they just can't wait. Fall can't get here soon enough for next year's football season. For the reporters, photographers, and engineers, and all of us here in Chicago who brought you the story this week, good night from Chicago. Scott?
Mike, incredible work this week. Well, while the Saints faithful are hurting tonight, they're still grateful for an historic season. And many traveled to Armstrong International Airport to welcome the team home, but there's been a snag. The Saints plane has been delayed getting in because of weather. We find Ben Lemoyne out at Armstrong International with more. Ben?
Scotty, you know, it's interesting hearing Mike talking about people going up to Chicago and that trip not being for naught. And many people who are out here today say this was not a trip that is for naught at all. In fact, I was talking to a police officer a second ago, and he said there is traffic all over Veterans Highway and on Bainbridge. People are literally all over this city and all over this town right now, lining the streets, waiting for this team to get off of this plane tonight and come in and see this kind of support. He said it almost seems like Mardi Gras. As you can see, we have a trombone out here playing when the Saints go marching in, and I can tell you it's even more than Mardi Gras, Scott. It's really become like a pep rally for next season, and that's what everybody has said tonight. This is not the end of a season. This is the beginning of a new Saints team. Everybody, of course, counting down now to preseason. Reporting live at the airport, I'm Ben Lemoyne, Eyewitness News, Night Watch. Back to you, Scott.
Well, Ben, so many of those fans optimistically may have made plans to Miami. Now, they'll be a little disappointed, but if they still want to go, they'll see a great game in 2 weeks. You can see it right here. The Chicago Bears, of course, and the Indianapolis Colts. Peyton Manning pulling off one of the better drives in NFL history. Under 2 minutes to go, leads his team down for the game-winning Joseph Adai touchdown. They'll play in their first Super Bowl since 1971 against the Chicago Bears, who, of course, their last Super Bowl, 1986. That one was right here in New Orleans. Thanks so much for staying up late with us. For Juan Kincaid, Jim Henderson, Mike Haas, Ben Lemoyne, and everyone else that makes this show work, have a great week, and God bless.